Dorothy was 30 years old, a single mother of 3. Her husband was shot by the police of Dunes for evading the traffic lights. Eyewitnesses said he lost control after his brakes failed. The police had 3 different versions. No one knows today which version exonerated the police officer who shot him point blank. Dorothy's children were Troy, 4, Shitu, 9, and Madoff, 2. One day when Dorothy walked her elder children to school, she left Madoff with the neighbors. That day there was a fire. The neighbors ran off, forgetting Madoff. Even though the fire was in another house, the police of Dunes took little Madoff away and put him into foster care for 1 month. During that time, Dorothy was due to undergo some childcare training. She wanted to, but the schedule did not favor the care of her 2 elderly children. She pleaded with the judge to give her a convenient time, but he refused. She did her best by attending 2/3 of the required sessions, but was late half the time. Child welfare declared her unfit to have custody of little Madoff. After several pleads to the judge, Dorothy located the foster home of Madoff. In her spare time, she would stand on the street and look out for her son. Sometimes she would follow the family clandestinely to the park, school, or church. All this was done unnoticed by the foster parents who did not know her. One day as she tailed the foster parents, Madoff spotted his mother. He called, "Mama," and started to run from her before the foster parents restrained him. "Mama, come and get me. I want to go home with you." It was then the foster parent made the connection between her and Madoff. They reported the incident to childcare. A restraining order was issued to Dorothy not to come within 100 feet of Madoff, his foster parents, and their home. Eventually, for whatever reason, little Madoff was whisked off to another home. That is how she lost track of him for 15 years. Dorothy, however, did not give up on her child. She went to the court 10 days a month and pleaded with the judge about the news of her son. Each time, the judge told the same story. The boy was fine and doing well. You do not need to worry. Dorothy worked 3 jobs hiring a bunch of lawyers to help locate her son, but all she could get was a report about him. Then one day, childcare located her and told her that her child was now 17 and had outgrown the welfare system, that they could no longer find a family to foster him. And so, they were there to ask if, by any chance, she wanted him back. She couldn't believe it. I wanted him back then, and I want him even more today. Dorothy jumped for joy. The welfare office went to the car and brought out little Madoff, now an adult. Dorothy could hardly believe her eyes. She barely recognized the young man standing before her as Madoff. Something told her this was not her son. She looked closely and saw that birthmark on the side of his face. Still, she did not want to accept this was her son. He stood there without emotions. His hair was unkempt, his beard long, and more than 2/3 of his face tattooed. He stood before his mother and lit a cigarette, his mouth folded, eyes cold and piercing through his mother like she was a total stranger. She wanted to run and embrace him, but she just wasn't sure what to do. "Welcome, my son," she said, and tried to touch him, but he brushed her away. Dorothy offered him one of the rooms in the house. The house became a new place. Madoff would sleep all day when he was at home. He did no work and bore a sense of entitlement. His siblings living next door were afraid of him. He brought home bad company, and they smoked and ate to everything they found in the house. The situation went from bad to worse. After Dorothy failed to rehabilitate her son, she sued the government for damages. The judge who heard the case agreed that Dorothy should be compensated for the damages done to her son. The amount stipulated was enormous. However, Dorothy refused the money, claiming no amount of money could bring back her son and compensate her for the pain in her heart. She wanted the government to reform the childcare policy and give parents the full benefit of the doubt. The judge acknowledged that parents, and not the government, were best placed to seek the welfare of the children. He claimed someone with authority had done this damage and was gone, leaving the people who truly care to clean their mess. Dorothy loved Madoff, but could never get him back. The Madoff she knew as a child was gone without a trace. Thanks for watching. If you're eager for more thrilling short stories, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be the first to dive into our next exhilarating adventure.